All right, hello, welcome back. Another episode of Steelfur Speaks. It is the start of June. Isn't it amazing how quickly the time flies? We're in that wonderful part of the summer in the UK where it really can't decide if it's sort of raining or if it's cold or if it's hot. It's like 20 degrees, and yesterday it was raining, and the day before that it was really sunny. And we're kind of just rolling. We're rolling through the sort of the months in the summer. I'm doing what people do. I'm waiting for my case of Misfail to arrive, try to get the cards together for Nationals in 3 weeks. I'm in the middle of like a massive process of clearing out stuff in my house, so like board games, card games, selling as much as possible. You see, I've got like the Secret Lairs up here. Those are all being sold. There's a load of Lord of the Rings TCG cards that are being sold. I've already sold a ton of Magic the Gathering. I've already sold a ton of board games. I'm selling more. Generally just clearing out piles and piles of cards, as well as selling out of multiple fab classes. Just getting back to, Ninja, Illusionist. Is Illusionist one of the ones I'm keeping? Ninja, Runeblade, Guardian. The three I'm keeping for sure, then maybe one or two others. But that's this kind of like what's going on. And to be honest, at the moment, I'm mainly debating, do I want to just play the three classes in Mistveil and then just take all my full art cards and then just go from one to the other when it's more, when one gets Living Legend, I'll just go back to the other one because they're all good and I just adore the art so much. I can't get away from that, as well as all of them feeling quite fun to play. So very much like new set has caught my attention. I really need to get my case, which is hopefully coming tomorrow, though I am at a conference tomorrow afternoon. So hopefully it comes in the morning. I can crack it before I go to the conference. If it doesn't, then I'm going to be very sad because I won't be at home on Wednesday either. So then I won't be able to pick it up until Thursday, which will be very, very upsetting. So let's hope we do it, because we do need to get cards for Nationals. I've obviously picked up a few already. I have a pile of Misfail here. I have, Rage Spectres, and I do have a Zen and a Siren's Call Rainbow Foil, which is quite nice. But I have not yet opened any legendaries, unfortunately. So I'm really starting from ground zero on the legendary front, so things are a bit of a thing. One thing I did do today, which... Okay, it's a bit dumb, because these sets are, like, not particularly great now. And most of the heroes are Living Legended, but ultimately we're talking about 3 cases worth of box space, boxes that aren't worth that much. So just, for you readers, I cracked a case of Tales of Aria. There's a Shock Charmers in here. There's a Duskblade, which never really got off the ground. Bit of a Shock Charmers. And there is another card that was banned, Pulse of Eisenloft. Now, I love the pulses, and, I love them so much that my fan fiction, which I am still writing, taking a bit of a break for a month or two because I'm writing short stories at the moment, is my favorite area, and the pulses is gorgeous art. Then I did a case of Monarch, so you'll see all of these lovely Monarch. I actually got tons of hits from Monarch, like playable stuff, Tomes of Divinity, Celestial Cataclysm. I got mostly the playable stuff from Monarch. And then I got, on the legendaries, I also got playables as well, except for Galaxy Black, which is, of course, Living Legend. But I did get a Vestige of Soul, which is playable. Everfest was a real winner, because Everfest is just so many playable Majestics. So, while I did get a load of Stavros and Icelanders and stuff, I also did get some Pulverizes. I did get, Rainbow Foil Pulverize, some very playable cards in here, actually, And then, of course, on the cold foil front, I got Talisman of Cremation, which could be very good for new at some point. Talisman of Oblation, not very good. I got a Grandeur of Valai, only 80 quid, but still very nice. Talisman of Featherfoot, still quite nice. Helm of Sharp Eye is a bit of an L. And then Amulet of Ignition, which could be good in some deck in the future. So I cracked those 3 cases, mostly just to turn those cards from 3 cases into a stack of reasonably manageable Majestics and legendaries. And what that does is let me take 3 cases worth of cards off my shelf, recycle that stuff, or give them away to new players in the local area. And, I'm not selling any of that until Tales of Aria 2 comes out, or we find out what happened to Chain or any of this other stuff. But it's there, and that's a thing. So that's fine and good. And it took a lot of time, but it was fun enough. It was fun. It was a bit funny just to open all these cards and be like, banned, 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 bad, banned. And I definitely did lose money. But then I was always going to lose money because, as I always remind people, Monarch was crazily hyped. That case cost me £850 because that's how much we thought Monarch was going to be worth at that time. And then, of course, we had the crash. And, if you're a new player and you don't know what this is talking about, ask your local community about it because, there was a huge market crash around Monarch and the boxes have never recovered. So I kind of just made a decision that I personally don't feel that this sealed product is ever going to recover. There's still too much of it in the market. And also the heroes have kind of had their time in the sun. And even though some of the cards are still playable, it doesn't feel like they're going to be where they were. So I just decided to open it, put it on the shelf, and if they do come back, I will have some of the playable cards for them that slot into those decks. And, some of them are still playable now, so I can sell a few of them, make a bit of money. However, I can't sell them that easily because my card market account has been suspended. Automatic suspension. So what happened... I posted a card. It was something from the Lord of the Rings MTG set, which I was selling, and I sold a load of stuff. I've sold about £800 or £900 worth of Magic and Fab and Star Wars cards in the past sort of 3 or 4 months. Most of it's gone back into Fab or just back into paying, myself back for all the traveling that I've been doing this year. But, it was quite good to do. And then on the most recent transaction, there was one card that I posted out, didn't tell them that I'd posted it because I forgot, and then I went to on holiday for 5 days, and then when I came back, they were like, "You haven't posted this card within 7 days, so we cancelled the transaction, and we've cancelled, we suspended your account." Now, on the positive side, it was only a £5 card, so I don't really mind that they refunded it. It was, that's probably why it didn't really notice the clock with me that I hadn't posted it when I was on holiday. But it is kind of frustrating because obviously Mistveil is out. I can still buy cards, but I can't sell cards. I have cards I would quite like to be selling. So I have put an appeal in, but it's been a week. They haven't reviewed it, so we'll see how long it takes. I've done 100+ transactions and I've had trouble with maybe 5 of them. There's been 3 or 4 cases of me just being like, I don't know where this card is. Like, I had it, I owned it, it's not where it should be. Usually on less expensive cards that I don't keep as good track of. And customers are usually fairly understanding. Like, if you tell them fast, like if you make someone wait 6 days for a card and then you turn around and say, I don't have it, they might get pissed off. But if they buy something and the first thing you do is message them and say, look, really sorry, but I don't have it anymore. And assuming it's not something where the price has changed drastically, looking at you levels of enlightenment, I bought 2 levels of enlightenment for £15 each. I thought I had bought 3. I checked then the next day. I had not bought 3. I'd only bought 2. And now they're £30, so I had to buy another one, which is really frustrating because I need to get my Mystic cards together for Nationals. But that is the thing. So I need my card market account unsuspended so I can keep selling cards I don't need. I need to get my case so I can open the case and get Mistveil. But aside from that, everything else is going really well. I was meant to have surgery to close a hole in my eardrum last week. It was cancelled 12 hours before, so the surgery, I was supposed to go into the hospital for 7 a.m. I got a text at 7 p.m. saying it was had to be cancelled. This is a surgery I've been waiting a year and a half for, so obviously I wanted to go ahead and hopefully they'll reschedule it soon. But what that means is I was able to make my way up to the UK Games Expo. Which I haven't been to in a few years. I last went to play Legend of the Five Rings, I think in 2018, 2017, but probably 2018. And I haven't really been, and I tell you, it's gotten so much bigger since COVID. It's now 5 halls. It used to be 3. It's massive now. It's actually insane. And really, really good. Yeah, really good. Really crowded. Really full of people. I only went up there to play Fab a bit. I just grabbed a deck, which I already had built. Made 2 or 3 changes. Fi was not the call. He's not the good ninja now. Like, he's the 3rd best ninja. Katsu and Zen are both better than him. So I went 3-0, and there was a bit of variance going against me on the day. Like, two of the games I didn't draw an Art of War. until turn 8 or 9 or something like that. Like, I was there with my tunic counter, for 8 turns, ready to use Art of War, and basically racing my opponent like I was going to draw an Art of War. Like, if you play Ninja, you know what that means. It's like, I'm trading, I'm blocking a little bit, I'm getting myself into a position where when I draw Art of War, I'm going to blow my opponent out of the water, and I just don't draw it, right? And then I'm losing too much health and I can't keep that up because Fire doesn't block very well. And then in this game against Kano, I did not draw Go Again. And okay, I only had 3 turns to draw Go Again before he killed me, but I didn't draw Go Again. My first hand was fine. My second hand was 2 snatches, Assault the Wound, and a blue Lava Vein Loyalty. And then I attacked with the snatch, pitched the snatch to Arcane Barrier. My opponent realized I didn't have any Go Again and basically just did some opting rather than pinging me for a lot of damage, so I couldn't pitch that much. Then I drew 3 cards and didn't draw any Go Again again. So the next 3 cards also did not have Go Again. I drew another snatch, another Salt the Wound. It was terrible. So I was just sitting there without Go Again for 2 turns as Fi into Kano, and then he just lethaled me, exactly lethaled me, and there wasn't really anything I could do. So, it's not the best of matches, but the Kano matchup is hard for Fi unless you draw like a god, because you can't kill him properly. But, that tournament was interesting. There was 1 new who showed up, very big contrast to Montreal, where like 14 new showed up, showing that she's a very popular hero. There was only 1 in the UK. We had 3 Zens. But we have had a bit of a supply issue with the product in the UK. A lot of stores didn't get it until Friday night. There are a lot of people who haven't got the cards, like myself, who would have played Zen. So it's not really a judge of popularity in the UK to say there were only 3 Zens. I think he's going to be a very popular hero. I think he is very strong. A lot of aggro players I've spoken to are very excited to play him because even if his power level doesn't end up being where it is, or he gets a ban or something like that, or he gets heavily countered by Nu or something like that, that's looking like it might happen, he's still fun. He's still aggro dreams. Like, he builds a chain of 7 or 8 attacks. He goes really wide. It feels fun to sequence him in a way that, like, Viserai felt fun to sequence and all this other stuff. So, playing Zen feels enjoyable. And really, that's like all I want. I want an aggro hero that feels enjoyable. So that's kind of where we are on the Zen thing. I'm really excited to get those cards. I obviously just need my case to arrive. What else is going on? I mean, that's it really in the Fab world right now. Oh, no. So at UK Games Expo, I had the chance to see in person the new convention booth. So I know the guy who LSS hired to work on conventions. He used to be FFG's OP manager for Legend of the Five Rings and other games like Keyforge. His name's Alex Watkins. I've always known Alex to be incredibly competent, very good at communication, very good at talking to people when things go wrong, getting things to go correctly. And that's kind of resonated through in what we've seen for what he's doing for conventions for LSS now. Like, there's this fantastic stand with this amazing graphic and light up, and there's demos and people giving out demos. The store that manages the event presence for LSS in the UK, so they gave over 1,000 IRA demo decks away at the convention. And I have friends who the last time there were volunteers at UK Games Expo got into the game, like Simon from Scowling Fleshbag. He got in through a demo run by just 2 volunteers at the Kingdom Gaming stand like 4 years ago. So the fact that LSS now has this giant eye-catching, booth with people giving out demos and free promos and stuff like that is just fantastic. And if they do that at all these conventions, they will get new players. Like, the game is addictive. We already have people coming onto the UK Discord being like, hey, so I did a demo. How do I get more into the game? Where's my local store? How do I get involved? And people are talking to them. However, we have encountered our first point of friction with this new player, right? So let's run through the discussion. Hi, I'm a new player. I've got this IRA welcome deck. How can I play the game? Okay, well, your local armory is this store. Check what format they're running. Get in touch with them. They'll help you get into the game, right? Perfectly fine and normal. The person's like, oh, there are different formats. What do you mean? Okay, so then we have to start explaining the difference between Blitz, Draft, Commoner, CC, right? Okay, good. We're off to a good start. They're already confused. Then they go onto the website, Fab website, and they're like, oh, so I've looked at all the heroes, and I really like the look of Lexi. Ah, yeah, so you see we're onto another problem now. Well, okay, brief explanation. Lexi is legal in CC, but not legal in... is legal in Blitz, but not legal in CC. Can we just check something here? I think we really should check something. So if I go to the hero page, there is no indication on the hero page what heroes are legal in what format. So looking at this, I'm going to scroll down. So, I mean, I'm a new player. I go to the website. Okay, cool. Flesh and Blood is a heroes-based game. Let's have a scroll down and see what heroes I really like the look of. Arachne. Ooh, maybe I like this guy's art. Wait a second. This is Arachne's Solitary Confinement. This is a young-only hero, not legal in CC. Benji, young-only hero. Stavro is banned. Only legal in Living Legend format. Briar, only legal in Blitz. Chain, only legal in Living Legend. You're starting to see the point here. For a new player, this is not accessible because the thing that's supposed to be a hook... Oh, sorry, you can't even see because I'm too big. But anyway, look, right, if we make myself small for a little minute, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's no indication on this page that indicates what heroes are legal where, what heroes are young only, what heroes are banned, etc., etc. So a new hero is going to go down this page and is going to find a hero they like, and then they're going to be like, this is cool, this is my thing. Even on this page, the hero page, there's no indication that the hero is not legal in any of the formats. And I think this is actually a mistake, because if we get new players, I think this is their route into the game. They'll do a demo. They might come to the website. They might just, like, people will be like, oh, well, why don't you just go to the website, pick what hero you think looks cool? Or you're going to watch my video, which goes through what hero people should play in the overview, or Majin Bay's recent video. Those are a bit better because they do give this context, but if someone just goes to the website and starts looking for heroes, they might think someone like Icelander looks really cool and then realize she's not legal in the formats that all the people nearby them are playing in. Now, it is something that can be solved by social friction, but I also feel like it's just an easy enough piece of information to communicate through a banner or something. Like, the thing is, you don't have to say everything, but if certain heroes... Like, say, for example, let's just say Briar, right? If Briar just has a banner here that just says Living Legend CC, right? Just here, and then when you click through the page, it just says at the top, Briar is Living Legend in CC. The person can go and ask questions, okay, what does Living Legend mean? They can go up to game, put in a link to what Living Legend means, they'll read an explanation, and they'll at least have an understanding that something is different about that hero. Right, something is different about that hero. That hero is not legal in every format. They won't know exactly what that means for them or their store or anything like that moving forwards. But, you know, for example, Brevin should say, you know, only legal in Blitz because he's a young hero, right? You know, so there should just be a little box, a little banner that just says something about the legality of the hero, just to give a bit of a hint that for the ones where something different is happening. I think that's kind of important. Also, hot take for the week, just to wrap up the podcast. Blitz needs to go die in a fire, right? And I don't say this lightly, okay? I really don't say this lightly. Blitz needs to go die in a fire. And what do I mean by that? Okay? Blitz is supposed to be our introductory format for new players. Now, never mind the fact that most people don't want to actually play it because they want to play CC, right? Never mind that fact, right? That most people don't want to play it because they want to play CC. That's a continual refrain by people that they want to play CC, they want to practice actual formats. And even, you know, with the addition of things like Enigma New Moon and Blaze, we're kind of seeing that LSS also doesn't really view Blitz as a more serious format. They view it as a more experimental, more sort of fun format, right? But it's not cheap, is it? I mean, this is different. This is a Rhinar Blitz deck that's deliberately made to be cheap, right? But if we look at tournament results, if we look at filter by format, we go Blitz tournament results, Kuala Lumpur, November 2023, on chain, £240. Okay, that's fairly cheap, is it? I don't know, for an entry-level format. We look at the second place deck, £680. Okay, cool. This is our introductory format. Sure, I like it. Let's go to third place, £550. Command and Conquers, Warmongers Diplomacies, all of these legendaries. And I think you're beginning to see my issue. Blitz does not do anything that it's intended to do. It's not a new player format because no one who's competitive, even in my local store, treats it like a new player format. We want to play our legendaries, we bring our legendaries to the table, and suddenly I'm playing with a deck that's worth £400 and any new players can't compete. Never mind the fact that Fab already has a very high skill ceiling in terms of how to block, how to attack, what to block, all of those kind of things that mean an old player is going to beat a new player 9 times out of 10 anyway. We also have a format that rewards financial investment in CC, and we have a Blitz format which rewards power, which gives you the use of your powerful cards with a lot less life to play with. A mistake in a Blitz game is so much more punishing than a mistake in a CC game because you have a lot less life to play with. One bad turn is GG because, let's face it, the power level of the game has been increasing. Blitz does not serve a function in the game. It uses all the legendaries in CC, so it is just as expensive. It is less forgiving because you have a smaller health pool, and the heroes are just as aggro. And it is even more punishing for new players because people are playing, super powerful, super expensive cards. There is an answer. We have Commoner. I really think Blitz should just not be a format anymore. And that you should just be able to play young heroes and rares in Commodore or Clash or whatever that format was that someone put out there, which is like rares plus. I think there is room for a rare only, or below format for new players, and I think that is Blitz. And I don't think we need to have, and maybe there are Majestics you put in there, and maybe Majestics are okay, but I think you just have a rare or below format, right? We just have a rare or below format that is accessible to new players, doesn't cost that much money, you can only play rare or below equipment, and you just go with it from there. And maybe you say weapons are fine. Majestic weapons are fine, because those are usually quite limited. Maybe some Majestic equipment is fine, but Majestics in the deck aren't, that kind of thing. There's a few decisions to be made there, but really all I want from a new player format, from Blitz, is for it to be affordable, cheap, and basically allow people to change heroes really, really quickly, right? So let's look at this deck, for example. Let's make a copy of it, and let's edit it to make it as cheap as I think it should be. Okay, so let's remove this, remove this, remove that, remove this, remove that. Right, the legendaries are gone. Okay, let's take out some other expensive cards. Art of War. Bye-bye. Right. Still at £100. Still a little bit too much. Can I get price up here? Is there a way to see price? Is there a way to see price? It doesn't look like there's a way to see price. Okay. Oh, no, here it is. Okay, cool. So we can start cutting out. I mean, that is not accurate at all, is it? Okay, let's take out Oasis Respite then. Worth 50 quid. That is not worth 50 quid. Oh, it's because someone has deliberately specified they're using first edition cards or something. Okay, we'll take those out. Take those out. And take out Spellblade Assault as well, which is not a £30 card. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're down now to this 40 quid list, right? And okay, you could be like, well, a lot of the power is gone. Good. We don't need that much power. We don't need this classic constructed level of Majestics making their way into Blitz. We need a lower toned down format where people can have a bit of fun without actually breaking the bank, right? And no one's saying that invert existence is a problem or that widespread destruction is the problem. But Carrion Husk, maybe, CNC, Art of War, these things worth 50 quid, that is a problem. They're not accessible, they're not fun, and, well, they are fun, but they're not accessible, and with 20 life, they're a bit too powerful. Whereas we can imagine a cheaper format where rares are fine. Maybe Majestic equipment is fine, so you can still run Vexing Quill Hand, you can still play the fun weapons like Dread Scythe if you want to, right? But we cut out legendaries, we cut out a lot of armor, we cut out just all of these Majestics, right? And we make people play commons and uncommons and rares instead. There aren't any uncommons, but you know what I mean. And we have fun, right? Commoner is fun. No one plays it. No one takes it seriously. Even my local store doesn't play it, right? But if it becomes the default, that or Clash becomes the default new player format in the game, we will have to play it. But as it is, if Blitz continues the way it is, people just don't want to depower themselves. People spend a lot of money on legendaries. They don't spend them not to show up and play them week on week at their store, right? But then a new player walks into that environment. So is it fair as me, as build player, to be like, well, you're going to build a deck, but you're going to build a deck that, doesn't include your legendaries, but random person who doesn't know that you've adopted that rule is going to show up with his legendaries and you're going to lose? Or is it better to just say, look, the format for new players is this. It's a legendary free format. It's a Majestic free format except in the equipment and weapon slots, and just roll with it from there. So I think Fab needs to make a decision about that. I think we need a new player format that is officially recognized, that is 30 or 40 quid per deck, right? I think that's a reasonable thing to say. I think at 30 or 40 quid a deck, most of it being in rares and commons that people can get for free, a lot of the time, people will change decks, people will experiment. As long as your entry-level format has £300 or £400 decks kicking around to even compete in a skirmish tournament and try and win, you're fighting an uphill battle, and I just think something has to give. Okay? That's my thoughts. Let me know if you agree or disagree on the Blitz issue, but I think it's just become more and more obvious how ridiculous it is to have such an expensive new player format, and I just think it's unsustainable, right? I mean, it's unsustainable. What? To win a battle-hardened or a Blitz event or a skirmish event, you need to buy 1, 2, 3, 4 legendaries, plus Art of War, plus CNC, plus whatever. Like, that's not all we should be doing. And the skirmish season shouldn't be that either. The skirmish season should be accessible. Someone should be able to play 2 or 3 decks each skirmish season and mess around and have some fun. So that's my thought. Misfell, when I get that case, we're going to be talking about it a bit more. UK Games Expo, the stand, fantastic. I hope more of those new players convert into Flesh and Blood players. That's what kind of started this rant, is I want to be able to welcome them, but I worry that a lot of stores are just going to keep playing Blitz with their super powerful decks, and people are going to get turned off very quickly by the cost and by the barrier to entry. I've been Steelfur Speaks. As always, if you're listening this far, you're probably a fan of mine. Do make sure you have liked and subscribed to the episode. Lots of people don't, but I know that you guys like what I'm saying. We're over 1,500 subscribers now. If you are listening to this and you own a store in the UK or something like that, you'd like a sponsorship banner or something on my podcast, it does go out once a week now, pretty regularly. We do talk about all of the issues that need to be talked about in Fab, and we are a very consumer-focused and consumer-friendly podcast, so anything that can help consumers get a better deal on their Fab cards with you, something we really appreciate. As always, if you'd like to support my channel, I'm not going to lie, I don't go to as many Fab events as I could because I don't make money from Fab. I lose money more often than not. With travel and with things like that. But, I've been doing this podcast for a while. I have a Patreon. You can go there. You can give me a bit of support. I don't really dive into, offering coaching or all that kind of stuff. It is just to support my channel or my writing or something like that. Show your support for me. And, if I get a few, I'll start putting a ticker on at the end of these videos that just shows who my Patreons are. But, for now, if you like me, you can buy me a beer, you can buy me some beer money, and I'll continue to be your advocate and the consumer advocate and a voice for the players in Flesh and Blood, which is my goal, and that's what prompts a lot of my discussions. As always, have a great time. I hope you're enjoying Misfail. Let me know who your favorite hero is in the comments. I've really got some hard decisions to make about who I sell out of. Olympia might be getting the chop, just because he's the only warrior I'm interested in, so it makes sense to sell him. And keep the heroes I do like going. I'm still reducing the number of classes I have access to in the game. So things are getting there. All right, have a good one.